Well, hey everybody. Today's adventure, we're going to take this draw knife, which is a 10-inch draw knife. It's a little bit rusty. My in-laws are letting me borrow it. I have a project that I want to use one for, and I look for one to borrow before I look for one to buy. But I do want to sharpen up, not really looking to do a full restoration, just to touch the cutting edge up a little bit, although it's just by feel it's fairly sharp. I want to make sure that it's as sharp can be. So a couple ideas I had here. You see it's the edge comes down and then it has a flat back, so in that aspect it's a lot like a lawnmower blade. So I thought about using my lawnmower sharpener on it, but I didn't want to do that. I don't want to get a real coarse blade. I want to do a real fine blade. I had the idea of using a whetstone, and my friend Ryan talked me out of that. He had a good point. You know, you don't want to have a super fine edge on this thing. It is a kind of a rough, coarse cutting tool. So what he convinced me to try was a file. It's a very smooth grain file, and so that's what we'll do. The challenge that I've got to figure out now is a lot of sharpening is in the angle, and consistent angles will be sharper than wavy angles. And in this wavy, I mean here, you know, say we're at 20 degrees, 2 inches down we're at 24 degrees, and then we're over at 17 degrees. So sharper the angle, the less resistant the blade is to damage from normal use. So for example, a scalpel or a fillet knife is going to be in the teens as far as angles go, because that's a very sharp angle. Something utilitarian like this, we probably want to do a 20 to 25 degree angle. I'm getting to talk a lot, but what I'm trying to point out is my challenge here is I need to find a way to keep the same angle on this tool while also sharpening it. So I'll come back when I find out something or figure something out on how to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna pick the camera up and show you what I came up with. It's pretty simple, but I clamped it down to a scrap piece of board using C-clamps and clamped it to the table saw. So what that should let me do is not have to worry about the work moving as much as the camera's moving. All right, so what we'll do is just chase the angle down, and we'll go toward the edge. We'll keep our strokes all heading the same way. We won't do a rotation. We'll just keep the strokes heading down. We'll do this on the leading edge, and then just like the lawnmower blade, we'll go on onto the back and just take that burr off. Okay, so we've been at it for a little while. I did have to improvise and clamp the C-clamps to the draw knife to the scrap wood, and then separately clamp the scrap wood to the table saw. But we've just been going through like that, and I'm ready now to do the back blade part. So there, I'll just get backwards on these. So here I think I'm just going to do it, dropping the C-clamp. I'm just going to hold it by hand. So this is just a real light touch. And again, the biggest thing is don't try to dig in and make a double bevel. You just want to be flat. Okay, well, we're ready to give it a test run and see how it pulls. So I went scrounging around the weird shop, find some scrap of wood. This is a piece of poplar, not terribly hard. dug too deep on that one. But it was the only hardwood I had that was appropriate. So I'm already kind of feeling, although it's certainly making chips, I'm feeling some burrs in there. So we'll put it back on the sharpen bench, but just to kind of see what it could do and how quickly it did it. Honestly, for my level of craftsmanship skill, that's probably good, but I kind of had the idea that do it once, do it right when you can. Sometimes you don't have time to do it once, but you've got time to do it twice. So today is a time that I have to do it right, so back to the bench. Okay, here, take two on the draw knife. I can tell you what I've already got there. I got to tighten up my vise. It's got the, all right, let's see. I think I'm digging too deep. If anybody's got any tips, but I'm not feeling the resistance as if there was a burr on the blade, so I think I'm just going to keep practicing. Got a project I want to do where this is the most effective tool to use, and of course I'll make a video of that for you, but there it is, how to sharpen a draw knife. Let me see if this doesn't make much difference. So that was me sharpening a draw knife. Had fun making the video, had fun learning how to do a new thing, and I hope you find this useful.